Dear colleagues, as the fall quarter 26 begins, it's my great pleasure to recognize and congratulate our colleagues who transitioned to Emeriti status in 24-25. July 1st is traditionally a popular retirement date. This milestone in our colleagues' academic journey not only honors their distinguished career and contributions to UC Davis, but it also marks the beginning of a new chapter of continued engagement. At UC Davis, Emeriti faculty remain an integral part of our community, often contributing through research, mentorship, teaching, and service. Their wisdom, experience, and dedication enrich campus life and inspire future generations. We celebrate the past accomplishments and in many ways they will continue to shape our university's future. This year, we honor a distinguished group of faculty members whose achievements span sustainable transportation policy, primate evolution, game theory and econometrics, applied linguistics and writing studies, medical education and psychiatry, chloroplast biology, food safety microbiology, psychology and trauma research, veterinary toxicology, and classical studies and university leadership. Collectively, they devoted hundreds of years of service to UC Davis, advancing knowledge, earning national and international honors, mentoring students, and provide institutional leadership. This video highlights 12 of our newest Emeriti. Although not an exhaustive list, it serves as a tribute to the spirit of this year's retiring class. We are pleased to highlight our newest Emeriti colleagues.
Daniel Sperling, Distinguished Blue Planet Prize Professor of Engineering and Environmental Science and Policy and Founding Director of the Institute of Transportation Studies at UC Davis. This institute is recognized as the leading university center in the world for sustainable transportation. Professor Sperling held the transportation seat on the California Air Resources Board for 16 years and served as chair of the Transportation Research Board, TRB, of the National Academies in 2015 to 16. Among his many honors are induction into the National Academy of Engineering in 2022, the 2024 Lifetime Research and Education Award of the Council of University Transportation Centers, the 2018 Roy Crum Award from TRB, its highest research award, and the 2013 Blue Planet Prize from the Asahi Glass Foundation Prize for being a pioneer in opening up new fields of study to create more efficient, low-carbon, and environmentally beneficial transportation systems. He served twice as lead author for the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, which received the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize. Thus, Professor Sperling is about a 0.3% Nobel laureate. He served for more than 43 years. Distinguished Professor Lynne Isbell, Department of Anthropology. Professor Isbell is a primatologist who seeks to uncover the ecological determinants of primate social organizations. Her efforts have led her to study not only primate behavioral ecology, but also animals as diverse as leopards, snakes, and ants. She has also published on primate evolution, notably developing the snake detection theory, which argues that our excellent primate vision initially evolved to avoid dangerous snakes. The snake detection theory has since received substantial support from psychologists and visual neuroscientists. Professor Isbell is a fellow of both the California Academy of Sciences and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Her professional service includes a 6-year cycle as President-elect, President, and past President of the American Society of Primatologists. On campus, Professor Isbell served as Chair of Anthropology for 5 years, and in 2010, She received the Academic Senate's Distinguished Teaching Award for graduate and professional teaching. She served the campus for more than 30 years. Distinguished Professor Giacomo Bonanno, Department of Economics. Professor Bonanno is an economist interested in game theory, its logical and philosophical foundations, and its applications to economics, in particular industrial organization and competition. He has written 3 open access textbooks on game theory, decision-making, and the economics of uncertainty and information. His scholarly contributions include 90 articles in journals and books, as well as 30 special issues of journals and edited books. From 1994 to 2022, he was the main organizer, in conjunction with a computer scientist, of the Biannual Logic and the Foundations of Game and Decision Theory Interdisciplinary Conference. Professor Bonanno served for 38 years. Dana Ferris, professor in the University Writing Program, UWP, is an applied linguist turned writing specialist. Her work has focused on second language/multilingual writers and readers and on response to student writing, among other writing-related topics. She is the author or co-author of 9 books, several of which went into multiple editions. She was the founding editor of the Journal of Response to Writing and the co-editor-in-chief of the Journal of Second Language Writing. Her articles and books have won various awards. At UCD, she served as Director of First-Year Composition, Director of English for Multilingual Students, and Director of the UWP. Professor Ferris dedicated 17 years of service to the campus. Mark Servis, Professor of Clinical Psychiatry, Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science, UC Davis School of Medicine. Professor Servis graduated from the Yale School of Medicine and completed his residency training at New York Hospital Cornell Medical Center before joining UC Davis as the General Psychiatry Residency Training Director in 1989. He served as chair of the UC Davis School of Medicine Committee on Educational Policy from 2001 to 2006, won the C. John Tupper Prize for Excellence in Teaching in 2009, held the Roy Brophy Endowed Chair for more than 12 years, and served as Vice Dean for Medical Education for 16 years. He won several national awards for his teaching and mentoring and was a nationally recognized leader in medical and psychiatric education. Professor Servis has published more than 80 peer-reviewed articles and book chapters on medical education and in the field of psychosomatic medicine. Professor Servis dedicated 36 years of service to the campus. Distinguished Professor Stephen M. Theg, Department of Plant Biology, College of Biological Sciences. Professor Theg earned his degree in molecular biophysics and has worked in many areas of chloroplast biology. His work focused primarily on protein translocation across and into chloroplast and bacterial membranes and the assembly of protein complexes therein. Later in his career, he became especially interested in the TAT pathway of protein transport, which operates in most energy-transducing membranes across the biosphere. In 2018, Professor Theg was elected as a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. For 33 years, Professor Theg contributed greatly to the UC Davis community. A. Colin Cameron, Distinguished Professor, Department of Economics, College of Letters and Sciences. Professor Cameron is an econometrician, developing statistical methods for the analysis of economics data on individual behavior. His early career focused on regression models for count data, such as the annual number of doctor visits. More recent research focused on statistical inference when individual observations are correlated rather than independent. In addition to research articles, he has authored 4 books, an undergraduate economics data analysis book, 2 graduate-level econometrics texts, and a research monograph. His research articles and books have received 65,000 Google Scholar citations. He served as chair of the College of Letters and Sciences Faculty Executive Committee in 2019 to 2020. He is a fellow of the International Association for Applied Econometrics. Professor Cameron devoted 36 years of service to UC Davis. Professor of Cooperative Extension Linda J. Harris, Department of Food Science and Technology. Professor Harris is a food safety microbiologist with a research and extension focus on pre- and post-harvest handling of fresh fruits and vegetables and low-moisture foods, especially tree nuts. Her research advances understanding of foodborne pathogen behavior throughout the food chain and tests thermal and non-thermal antimicrobial approaches for their ability to reduce or control pathogen populations. These data have supported quantitative microbial risk assessments for almonds and pistachios, work that informed performance standards for target reductions of pathogens in these commodities. Recognized internationally, Professor Harris is a fellow of the International Association for Food Protection, the Institute of Food Technologists, and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. She received the James H. Meyer Distinguished Achievement Award in recognition of her distinguished career-long contributions to the mission of UC Davis. Professor Harris enriched the UC Davis community through 29 years of exceptional service. Gail S. Goodman, Distinguished Professor, Department of Psychology. Professor Goodman's research concerns trauma and memory development, child maltreatment, and children in the legal system. She received many awards for her research and writings, including the James McKean Cattell Award for Lifetime Contributions to Applied Psychological Research from the Association for Psychological Science, and 3 Distinguished Contributions Awards from the American Psychological Association, APA. Professor Goodman was president of several APA divisions, including developmental psychology. She has published widely and received many grants and contracts. Her research has been cited in U.S. Supreme Court decisions, including pivotally concerning the Sixth Amendment and child witnesses. Professor Goodman obtained her Ph.D. from UCLA and conducted postdoctoral studies at the Université René Descartes in Paris, France. She has consulted with numerous governments and agencies throughout the world on policies and research concerning child victims in the legal system. Professor Goodman received the 2021 Distinguished Research Award from the Davis Division of the Academic Senate. She devoted 33 years of service to UC Davis. Robert Bob Poppenga, Professor of Veterinary Diagnostic Toxicology and Toxicology Section Head at the California Animal Health and Food Safety Laboratory, School of Veterinary Medicine, CAHFS. Professor Poppenga is a board-certified veterinary toxicologist whose focus at CAHFS was to investigate and diagnose animal intoxications from natural and man-made chemicals. He had a particular interest in chemical exposures of diverse wildlife species. This interest resulted in numerous publications in veterinary and wildlife journals. He taught veterinary toxicology to veterinary students and trained residents in veterinary toxicology. He was past president of the American Board of Veterinary Toxicology. Professor Poppenga completed 21 years of service to the campus. Ralph Hexter, Distinguished Professor of Classics and Comparative Literature. Professor Hexter studies the literatures of Greece and Rome, above all Homer, Virgil, and Ovid, focusing particularly on the reception and interpretation of their works, among others, through the European Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and beyond. A member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, he has also served in numerous administrative positions, including Dean of Arts and Humanities and Executive Dean of Letters and Sciences at UC Berkeley, President of Hampshire College in Amherst, Massachusetts, and Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor at UC Davis, where he was also for a time acting and then interim Chancellor. He stepped back from his position as Provost in 2020 to conclude his career teaching and to complete his most recent book, Entertaining Ambiguities, Sexuality, Humanism, and Ephemeral Performances in 15th Century Italy, which will be published by the University of Pennsylvania Press in December. Professor Hexter served at the University of California for more than 24 years, including 10 years at UC Berkeley and more than 14 years at UC Davis. Mary Horn, Department of Pharmacology. Professor Horn discovered the novel cell cycle inhibitory cyclin CCNG2-cyclin G2, a major focus of her independent research. Her team investigated the signaling regulating cyclin G2 expression and its contribution to growth inhibitory responses limiting breast cancer cell growth. She is a longtime collaborator of UC Davis Professor Johannes Hell, who focuses on postsynaptic ion channel regulation in hippocampal neurons. With Professor Hell's team, Professor Horn found compelling evidence that cyclin G2 influences neuronal spine density and postsynaptic signaling responses via its interaction with beta-catenin. This continues to be a focus of her efforts as emeritus faculty. Through her close work with Professor Hell's students, she made significant contributions to his research on the L-type calcium channel, CoV 1.2. Along with completing her work on neuronal cyclin G2, Professor Horn is facilitating completion of mutational analyses of CAV 1.2 residues required for voltage-dependent and calcium-dependent inactivation. Professor Horn was actively involved in teaching medical and graduate students and in university-wide committee work supporting UCD's teaching mission. One of her proudest moments was being announced as a recipient of the Graduate Studies 2024 Mentoring and Advising Award. Professor Horn served at UC Davis for more than 15 years.
Many of these distinguished colleagues will continue their research in the service at UC Davis, underscore the ongoing impact of Emeriti faculty across our mission. Congratulations to all colleagues who retire in 24-25. I encourage you to join the UC Davis Emeriti Association and consider participating in their video records project, which now includes nearly 1,600 interviews. Please contact the project's co-chairs, Alan Jackman and Mary Delaney, to arrange your interview. Another popular opportunity to stay engaged is the monthly Retiree Central Coffee Social. We thank our newest Emeriti for helping make UC Davis an exceptional place for academic careers, now and for the future. Thank you for watching.